Welcome back, everyone. This is our second part of video talking about zeros of polynomial. As I mentioned in the previous video, we can actually using zeros here on the graph to predict the factors of this. So one more thing I just want to remind you. When we factor the quadratic formula, a quadratic function, or even polynomial, when we factor, for example, I factor this equation as this. I just want to remind you again. Each part called factor of polynomial. So for the students still confusing this, you can also think about this. For example, I can rewrite 15 as 5 times 3. That's why 5 and 3 are factor of 15, right? So same thing here. When you break down a function into different parts multiplied together, then each part is the factor of polynomial. This is, what we mentioned before about the factor, the functions here. So what we are going to do for this part is we are going to check another two examples, and we are going to just review this process again so you can fully understand what we are talking about here. So let's check these two graphs here. So we are going to use this two graphs to predict some features of polynomials. So something we mentioned before about the graph is we talk about the degree, we talk about the end behavior. So we are all put them together here to help you to review. So let's check here. So first of all, when we see the right side is going up, the left side is going down, they are on the opposite situation here. So we know the degree is up, right? Because they're going to the opposite situation here. And also, this is when x increasing for the right side, y is also increasing. So let's write down the end behavior. As x approaches to positive infinity, y is also approaching to the positive infinity. But when x is going to the negative infinity, y is also going to the negative infinity. So as you can see, x, y actually keep the same consistent pacing here, follow the same direction. So that's why we can say this leading coefficient is positive. You see, from this graph, we actually have a lot of information so far. And what we mentioned today is now we check zeros. We know they have these three zeros here, which is, let's write down here, -2, 1, and 3. And these zeros are the functions of we know. We know these values are the ones to make y equal to 0, right? So what we can tell the graph is factors of polynomial will be x plus 2, x minus 1, x minus 3. So some students probably notice I just took the opposite value of this to put it into this form. You may wonder why. Remember, when you solve this, when x equal to 2, when x plus 2 equal to 0, the solution is -2. So that's why when you put back into the factor form, it's actually going to reverse the value. That's why we can make the connection here. Some student might say, then does that mean the polynomial we just multiplied three parts together? It's not really, because there are a lot of factors we still need to consider, like what exactly the value of leading coefficient, those kind of thing. But that's not the focus today. We do not predict generate exactly the equation of the polynomial. Instead, we actually can moving just from the zeros to this factor. That's our focus today. Okay, so that's something we can get here. Now let's focus on this one. So as you can see here, the this one x, when from the right side, x going y going up, left side y going up. So they both go to the same direction for y. This case we know it indicate, let's use a different color. the indicate degree is actually even this time because the y going to the same direction. And now let's write down the end behavior is x approaching to the positive infinity. As you can see, no matter how x changes, y is always going to increasing. As x increasing, decreasing, y still increasing as positive infinity because they go both going up. Now, based on the graph, we can see here is we also have zeros, zeros, zeros. So let's write down the zero here, which is -2, 0, and 2. So now we know the factors of polynomial, which is, so you actually can pause here to think about this. It's going to be x plus 2, and some student might say, hey, it's going to be what about the zero part? It's actually the same thing. So x plus 2, a 0 you may wonder is x plus 0. As you can see, plus or minus make no difference. So it's just x, then x minus 2. This is how do we match each part. So again, we can actually use this to predict how the function of the polynomial look like. Okay, so that's the two example. We use the graph to analyze some features of the polynomial. Next example, which is the last example, we are going to say, how do I get the simple graph of this if I just have zeros? Let's check this one. So this one says we have a quantic, as you can see, is actually 4, right? So zeros of function are 2, -2, 4, -4. Then we are going to use zeros to construct the possible sketch. So let's check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just quickly label them, the possible position here. We have 2, -2. We have 4, -4. So if you want to use a wider space here, you know what? Maybe we should use a wider space here. If you want to use a wider space here, that's perfectly fine since we do not have graded. So as long as we know even, because this is 2, then this is, possibly 4, and we use possibly same location, -2 and -4, okay? So that's the 4 values here. And then since as you can imagine, when this, graph passing through this, we just need to like a make a chain, and every single chain and this string, okay, imagine this string is going through all the values here. So the first we are going to like go up and go down. If you want to draw like very high and then going down, that's also fine, but make sure it's passing through this. And then next one I need to passing through this. I'm going to draw down and then going up. So this time I'm going to go up and then down again. So if you want to go like very tall and then come down, it's actually possible because again, we have only zeros here. So that's all the part we can predict. Okay, so that's one possible sketch for this one. So some student might wonder, hey, what about I go this one? Instead of going up, I want to go down from this point. I go down and then up. I go very, very tall and then go up and down, down again. Oh, sorry for the last part. It's not good one. Okay, did clean my everything. Not good. Okay, let's do that again. Let's be patient with the process. So as you can see, I actually use here. So you may wonder which one is correct. Actually, all of them are correct. The reason is, as you can see, we don't know more information about this polynomial. All we have is this 4 zeros. No matter which one we actually graphing here, they both have 4 0 exactly matched to the information. And this is degree is 4, so we actually, this is an even polynomial. So that actually match exactly what we're talking about here. And we are correct. So both of the answers are possible. Okay, so that's everything I want to share with you. I hope this two examples here. This graph and also this sketching process will help you to understand the topic we are talking about today and to help you to make all the connections, like how do we use zeros to predict the factors, and also how do we analyze the zeros, how do we even sketch here. So those are the examples I want to present today. Thank you so much for studying this topic with me and watching these videos. And see you soon. Take care, everyone.